I have been using this for a while now, so I figured I would share some thoughts. I have used it for camping trips, a couple of driveway projects, and as a backup when the power went out at home. If you are someone who wants a portable generator that can handle and travel trailer, keep a fridge cold during an outage, or run a few basics without making the whole area miserable with noise, this one fits that kind of use. If you need something for heavy-duty job sites, or you need a 240-volt outlet for larger equipment, this is not the one I would point you to. The reason I went with a dual-fuel model is simple. I wanted options. Gasoline is easy to find, but it does not store well for long periods, and it can be annoying when it goes stale. Propane stores cleanly, and I can keep a tank around without worrying about it as much. In real life, that flexibility has mattered more than I expected. When I am heading out camping, I usually bring propane because it is cleaner to handle, and the generator seems to run a bit smoother on it. When I am at home and I just need quick power, gasoline is still the fastest option if I have it on hand. Being able to choose based on what I have available has saved me some stress. Physically, it is a compact unit for the amount of power it can put out, but it is not light. It is around 100 pounds, and you feel that. I can move it around my garage and across a driveway without much trouble because the wheels actually do their job and the handle gives you decent leverage. Loading it into a truck by myself is where I slow down and start thinking twice. If you are planning to lift it often, I would want a second set of hands, or at least ramps. The build feels solid in the places that matter. The outer shell has taken some bumps without cracking, and the controls have not gotten loose or rattly over time. I also like that the access for basic maintenance is not a whole project. Checking oil and getting to service points is straightforward, so I am more likely to actually do it on schedule. That is not exciting, but it matters if you want it to start when you need it. Setup was simple. I rolled it out, added oil, and ran it outside to break it in. On gasoline, it fired up reliably, and after a couple of runs, I switched over to propane to see how it behaved. The changeover was not complicated, but I will say the first time you do it, it helps to slow down and follow the steps carefully. Once you have done it a couple of times, it becomes routine. Daily use is where this generator makes the most sense for me. The electric start is not just a convenience, it is something I use every time. On cold mornings when I am half awake and just trying to get heat running in the travel trailer, pushing a button is a lot nicer than wrestling with a pull cord. I have started it in freezing weather on a mountain trip, and it did not fight me. I have owned generators in the past that were stubborn when the temperature dropped. This one has been consistent. Noise is another thing I paid attention to because I camp near other people sometimes. The claimed noise rating is around 61 decibels. I do not walk around with a meter, but I can tell you what it feels like in real use. Standing near it, you can have a normal conversation without raising your voice. From a few campsites away, it blends into the background more than the older open-frame generators I have been around. It is not silent, but it is the difference between tolerable and annoying. At home during an outage, it is not the kind of sound that makes you feel like your neighbors are going to hate you. Power is the other big piece. This is rated at about 4,500 starting watts and about 3,500 running watts. I'm not staring at those numbers when I use it. I am thinking about what I can actually run. For my travel trailer, it has handled the refrigerator, lights, battery charging, and even the air conditioner without acting like it is about to stall. I tested it in a normal way, not a lab way. I turned things on the way I actually would, and I watched for signs of strain like surging, bogging down, or tripping. It stayed steady. I also used it to keep a full-size refrigerator and some basic house loads going during an outage, and it did what I needed as long as I was reasonable about what I tried to run at once. One thing I care about is how it behaves with electronics. I have charged laptops, phones, camera batteries, and run a couple of sensitive devices without any weird buzzing or instability. The whole point of an inverter generator, for me, is having power that does not feel rough. In real use, it has been clean enough that I do not worry about plugging in my gear. Fuel use depends on how hard you push it, but in general, I get the sense propane is a little more predictable for storage and planning. I like knowing I can keep propane ready for months without fuss. Gasoline still has a place, but I have learned that I need to be more disciplined about rotating it and using fuel stabilizer if it is going to sit. There are a few limitations that are worth saying out loud. The weight is one, even with the wheels. Another is the outlet situation. If you need 240-volt power for certain home backup setups or large tools, this unit is not designed for that. I also think the size and shape are portable, but it still takes up real space in a garage, and I had to decide where it lives so it is not in the way. As for smart features and app support, there is not much to talk about because this model does not make me rely on a phone. And honestly, I prefer it that way for a generator. When the power is out or I am off-grid, I want something I can operate with my hands and eyes. The panel gives me what I need in the moment, and I am not troubleshooting a wireless connection just to see basic information. After living with it, my overall take is that it is a practical generator for camping, travel trailers, and basic home backup, especially if you like the idea of being able to run either gasoline or propane. It has been easy to start, quiet enough to use without feeling guilty, and strong enough for the kind of loads I actually put on it. It is not the lightest thing to move, and it is not built for 240-volt demands, but within its lane, it has been dependable. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with what you are trying to power and where you plan to use a generator like this. I will do my best to answer questions based on how I have been using it. Thank you for watching.